everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing more Jeskai Control, and we finally have found a list. Arnie was posting and talking about this one specifically, so I kind of took it from him. He's been on the Pro Tour multiple times, so if you want to check out his channel of this deck list, he will have posted it yesterday, at least within the last like 24 to 28 hours, where he was talking about the list and playing it, and he's on the Pro Tour and most likely playing it best of 3. But we're playing it in best of 1 to see if it's good enough, because 1, they have dropped Shiko and are playing the Unagi instead. Has a good ward cost flash. Whenever an opponent draws a second card each turn, you draw 2, which works out a lot. You'll see this come up quite a bit in our matches, so I don't really have to explain it. If you just watch, you will see how good this card can be. And with cutting Shiko, that allows us to play Rest in Peace instead of awkward kind of one-ofs or like a flanker and things like that. We're able to just establish this, protect it a little bit when it's needed, and then buy us enough time that even if our opponent was to reanimate a graveyard, it's just not near as impressive, or, you know, other things like that. With that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games. I think a lot of the cards explain themselves throughout the game. I think we played, for the most part, pretty tight, and we do have a sideboard that will be in that deck description as well. So with that said, let's go game. I don't know. Slim Lavamancer got me. That was pretty funny. Said a Grim Lavamancer, but either way. Get lost to connecting piece here. Ooh. I don't know, I feel like with the Day of Judgment, get lost can just go, right? I think if we have to get lost, do kind of all that nonsense, we're in a weird spot regardless. Looks like we have lessons. We do play Rest in Peace, so we do have options against them. Storm Chasers, if they try to bounce the Storm Chasers back to their hand, we will just pop it to take a card draw away, get rid of an extra creature, things like that. Rest in Peace here. I think we wait a little to establish a Rest in Peace. I think rushing it out now puts it down for some targetability where people can look at it to remove it. Then we just wait. Also, this could be a Spell Pierce. I'd much rather jam it on 2 instead. Kind of go that route with it, especially whenever our opponent is trying to get a little bit more set up in their plan. Monument will be a little weird to answer though. 1 damage we're never going to really fight over. Yeah, like right here is a pretty good opportunity to Rest in Peace them now. Could go ahead and pop this, but we'll see. I would much rather blow this up and with them targeting something, but the Rest in Peace, this just naturally becomes worse, right? Feels like there's a stick there for something like a Spell Pierce. We go here and we just jam a Rest in Peace, take both graveyards away. There's no stick on that. It just auto resolves, so who knows. Now they got choices. They could bounce this back to hand. You know, the Wisdom obviously much worse here than what it would be. Normally, we're going to try to find their good cards. We just have to get to the point that we find our good cards as well before they set up any. A land here is huge because that means we don't have to go for a land voluntarily, really. We don't want to go for a land there. We just might have had to. Monument's probably just going to have to happen, unfortunately. We do have a Braids in our deck, but if we really find one, then whatever. Could counter this. Be fine. Do not. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2 cards. You play 3 of these, so I do think it's grab the Unagi here. And then with that land, we probably want a little more red because it costs red to activate. So let's grab blue-red here. Stock Up is a good card. Although I think I'm just waiting, and I'm going to flash this in whenever they try to trigger this. Because when an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2 cards. That will just keep us ahead. Rest in Peace seems to keep them out of the game anyway, and we'll take. Yeah, I mean, being one to play with the no more lives available, get lost, just waiting in the wind, double blue for 3 steps and Helix on 2, like. I'm not going to pass on the Ultima just because we don't know what we're against. If it's artifacts, I'm going to be happy to have it. If it's this type of deck, we're also like Badger Mole Cub, we're going to be incredibly happy to have it. let this go just so we have the no more lies. Yeah, this is much better for us. I almost want to let them do this, but I will just slow them down. Because the thing is, if they bring up a land and we end up ultimating them, the land doesn't come back because the turn ends before it's able to. Yes. We're close to activating that. Instead of countering, we might have to draw 2 here. But that really only matters if they play something really bad. Weirdly enough, could helix that, but let's go ahead and get value out of our no more lies. A Sirach could be in that deck, so we'd have to have problems with that. We will have to tap out here, though, to find 2 more lands. And here, I think it's just this and Misrise. Although, well, they do have blue, so it could matter. What do we play here? A Braid, 3 artifacts, unlikely. And I have enough kind of removal, especially with an Ultima coming down. We just have to basically get them to flush their entire hand and go from there. Leyline Weaver, sure. Rest in Peace is a card that we can play, but we just pass. This is kind of a dead draw right now anyway. Huh. On the 15. No real reason to panic. Almost feels good enough to Ultima, but we're going to pop this. Alright. So we see that there's not really anything being held here. Do I really want to hold up a counterspell? I have pretty much almost enough for Craterhoof, but I can always get lost to Craterhoof. Let's draw 2 here. Sweet. Get rid of the shock. We don't necessarily need it. Pretty good card to jam. Don't need that. Their mana's too much. Have too much mana now. A lot of spells have been cast on our side, that's for sure. Leyline Weaver, sure. You have Ward Waterbend a lot. That. Now we're moving on through. Now we just hold it here and we just play the slow passive game and start activating this. They ever draw another card, which they are not really keen to do a lot of. We're okay. We also just have to make sure we're not getting cooked by a Craterhoof at any point here. Then we should be fine. Could cast this. I think I'm going to. Grab another one. Play land. Get lost, I think, is acceptable. Could just establish a Rest in Peace. I don't think they'll have a graveyard thing. So I'll just hold it. Maybe get rid of it to a draw discard later. Or if this starts triggering a lot, then we have options. Here. So Day of Judgment stock up maybe? Yeah, I think I'm going to settle with that. Then, honestly, it might just be to start swinging my 5/5. Might be just to let the 5/5 go. Okay, definitely with that, maybe we are letting it go here. We keep taking lands. Not bad. Nothing. Just in case this gets countered. Or do I just wait? Now we just pop it. If it works, it works. Sweet. Then I don't think we're at risk of losing here, so I'll just play Rest in Peace. I don't think they're going to have anything that brings their graveyard back, but I'd much rather just play around it regardless, and we don't have Shiko in our deck. That guy's fine. Obviously, we have good answers to it. So we're using our mana efficiently here. Get rid of that. 32 to 44, so we do actually have to win. Our opponent does have the right to just sit here and do nothing and make us win, which we obviously have the creature that could do it. We get there anyway. Very nice. But had that Ultima ready for the other Badgermole Cub that never ended up coming. So, usually for us, it's great. For them, unfortunate. And we'll move on. Sure. We'll keep this. Always having a Helix on 2 is pretty good, right? But wait on our opponent here. Not only having Helix, we do have like a stock up on 3 if they're really doing nothing. Oh, they mulligan. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to touch your sleeves like that. Kind of looking at them. Interesting. I tapped. White. Ass. Okay. Pass it up. Okay. No counterspell here, but I do have a Day of Judgment. So a little part of me thinks I go for Consult, even though it seems kind of bad. Okay, we're grabbing No More Lies. We hope that do we go for land or do we just Day of Judgment? Yeah, we probably go. The odds of me dying next turn seem so little. And thankfully we did this because apparently we were not finding lands very easily, and we'll grab a backup Day of Judgment to blow up the board and then blow up the board again. But yeah, apparently the land was not coming. Thankfully we do have 2 white and 2 Mistrized Villages. 0 armor, sure. 0 armor, sure. So I get hit for 6. Then I just blow that up. Thankfully, we do get more diverse mana here. And on 2 lands, we'll see if they can do it. Okay, cool. Fair enough. We'll try. You seem a little bad against Badger Mole Cub, but... Oh, it's Reanimator. Alright. Probably need to pass on you. Everything's to dig for a rest in peace now once we see this. Simic, that's kind of the craziest part. If you're playing any, like, Simic deck or whatever, kind of always lead on that hedge maze. And the reason why is because it's so hard to know what your opponent's playing. Because they can always be anything, right? And we have a No More Lies to kind of pick off some stuff. Obviously, eventually they can just play a Cavern, and that would be bad. They really have to get the good card. No. Need to make them wait. And if they miss a land here, that's obviously better. It's also possible that they don't have many lands anyway. There's no Bringer. I feel like we're supposed to stock up. I know that puts the shields down, but when we have a card like Rest in Peace, it feels so, like, against what I'm thinking. So, I want to grab a Helix because it's better removal. I have 2 more lands to play. Most likely play Surveil Land next turn, so let's grab the 3 steps. Obviously, we're just super digging for one of our 2 Rest in Peace. And obviously, the longer it goes without them having a Cavern, we're obviously a bit happier. Overlord kind of sucks for us. And there's a Cavern that got milled over, Path of the Dead. I do like that art a lot. It's just kind of weird. This is where Helix is good, right? Because we just get to pop one of these nonchalantly. Cavern, I think, is anywhere between 2 to 3. So it's not like we just dodge it. There's the Bringer. They have a so they have lethal in the graveyard. Not particularly close. Nice. I don't really have to. I can now Helix and get lost. But yeah, this whole matchup is very dependent on whether we find a Rest in Peace or not. We're a little bit deeper than it seems. Obviously, 4 damage I don't really think makes much of a difference. I think getting shot by Terror of the Peaks a million times does. You have to be on instep here. Let all that resolve. Then, honestly, it almost feels like it's supposed to be 3 steps ahead. Try to draw for it. Oh, we missed really hard. We missed again. Okay. Go ahead. Missed a land drop, though. So we know our No More Lies is good. Down to take 4 more. Again, Terror is just so beyond lethal here that it doesn't actually matter. Overlord again. Okay. Do remember that we're going to flash this in when they draw their second card. We're going to get a ton off of it. Oh, Kiora art. I didn't know that already existed, to be honest with you. Play an Undercity Sewer. Sure. Terror the Peaks ×2. This turn. Have to agree to those. So the Unagi comes in. Waterbend 4. So Ward's going to be good. Draw discard. Opponent. And we'll draw 3 more. Again, just really digging for one of those rest in peace. Hey, what's up, buddy? Welcome back to the team. We appreciate you a ton. Here, counter unless I pay 2. I have everything to prevent them from doing anything, so here's a rest in peace. And now we can start this game all over. All over once again. And then I have Helix, Get Lost, No More Lies. Let's just play Surveilland here. Sure. I like cards that are good. I like cards that are good. They try to play this card. We probably still end up countering it. Just because, again, it's the only way our Rest in Peace gets popped. And without a Rest in Peace going away, they have a lot harder of a time. Right? We just get to continuously go. And anytime they activate this, by the way, we're going to be drawing 2 extra cards. And they're way lower on the card count than us. That's for sure. Strategic Planning is a card that they've shown us that they played. And I think they just realized after doing that again that we're going to draw a ton. Thankfully, we found that Rest in Peace. It could have been very bad, obviously. Kind of one of those games where we know we have the win condition in our deck. It's just whether or not we find it. And there's 2 of them, so chances are like kind of whatever. We're at 38 cards. RU 35 cards. So we were within the ballpark of hitting one. Because it is kind of a 1 in 30 on those when you only have 2. So very cool. We get there. We move on. I mean, I think we just have to hit the lands. We have such good cards. Tries shock this on a white so we have No More Lies. Graveyard again, maybe? It is. I kind of want to just get value here. Just full slow them down a turn. And that's pretty good. Doesn't let us hold that up though, unfortunately. You're tapped. There you go. I think it's just the same scenario as last time. Threatening a No More Lies, but obviously we know we don't have it. It's a land. Dredger's Insight number 2. That one we allow to resolve. Of course. Well, that's... Huh. Maybe it's not. Now I don't know. Now, we're in a weird spot. Sure. Here. Go. Double Dredgers. And all we got was lands and a Landware Elf. So it feels like Golgari Dragons. Starting town seems weird. Maybe it's supposed to be Sultai? Or it's the 1 card. Scavenging Ooze. This all gets eaten by a board wipe, so we just don't really do anything. Yeah. Taking 1. Are you striking me? We know they have a green available, so it doesn't really matter. Ultima seems good. I kind of want to just grab stock up Revelation here. Because I have a Day of Judgment, but they are... Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Revelation. You want to talk about a card that can kind of bail you out of any spot, it's definitely that one. I just want to wait here. What am I afraid of? I have no creatures. This isn't getting any bigger. I think I'm stock upping. It's just a better move. Their land's getting more up there and having counter spells. I opted to go for Consult over another stock up. And we're kind of just playing towards this. We're really looking to board wipe next turn. Maybe use the Helix here on something. I just don't know what they're about. You know? This can exile literally any number of cards. It doesn't matter. There has to be a creature in order to get anything. Could be the Graveyard Earthbane combo deck. There's white. Or a Boroid's card. Here. Could have maybe a protection spell, but then that obviously walks into our Day of Judgment. We'll take like a decent hit here. But even more of a reason for us to kind of wait with these counter spells instead of board wiping. Or Boroid is obviously a way more threatening card. Counter miss. I just tapped. Just pass it up once again. Looking to counter draw here. Playing it slow, slowing it down. As Matthew Mercer once said in a voice line, high noon or something. Okay. Value land. Value card. And now I can go here. Avati. Can't put it over it, but I believe. I also respect them for doing this because we could be a Shiko deck, so this totally makes sense if you're wondering why they're doing it. Obviously, they're not gaining life, but you should always play around what you can, if you can. Turn. Now we have this, but we also had the Get Lost ready. There's an Ouroboros. Sure. Pop it. Pop it like it's hot, brother. That's enough mana. Hoping, because I didn't really count it. I just looked and said, that feels about right for my Revelation. That's 2 mana. Sure. Petramos. Okay. I see you. Nothing, huh? We want to return this land and deal 4 damage to you. That land will enter tapped. We have an Abrade. And it should be good. I have 2 counter spells. I can't imagine much is going to come off this. I could go for 4 damage, but I just don't care. I'm going to flash this in, have 7 on the board. I see a cavern. Make that payment. Yep. Obviously, I can't imagine we're staying much longer, but we get there. Very, very nice. Opponent on the play. Kind of a weird hand, but probably one that's okay. On land 2, 3rd card. Kind of a heavier top end. A maul makes it a bit easier to keep. Means their curve might be a little worse for wear. And we can't really keep up with right now is definitely like land elf, land badger mole, do another thing. You know, they're about to play the hand I can't keep up with. Maybe another get lost is a requirement here. Other than that, we're definitely going to be digging for... What's the hand I said I couldn't keep up with, by the way? It's literally the exact hand I said I couldn't keep up with. The problem is I have to answer Ouroboros, right? Because I have enough mana to play it anyway. It's the exact hand I said I couldn't keep up with. Well, brother, let me tell you what. You mauled into a really good hand. Do that before the combat trigger. They get to use the maps. Obviously, we're not really fighting that too much. We're all too well anyway. But I'm going to try to play the Surveil land. Hope it's good enough. And we'll go from there. Gene Pollinator, obviously not great. Line Weaver being good. A Day of Judgment Rip at some point here would be nice. Mockingbird is fine, I guess. Taking 1,000,000 damage is not that great. Surveil, digging for the board wipe. Misses, we pass. We hope to just not be... Do I have to pop this first? 6, 7, 8. I have a Mockingbird. So, unless that last card's Ouroboros, which we'll know, we'll just get lost to Badger. I don't know. 6, 7, 8. Okay. We have a choice. We can consult here to dig for the board wipe, which might be a better play. Because what happens if we get lost this? They lose some mana. Let's force them to attack first before we do it. If we get lost this, they lose some mana, right? But like, where does that really put them? It puts them at 5 damage. I guess maybe if we rip a Helix or something, we're able to get out of it. But I feel like it just has to be consult, right? Am I crazy? I feel like it has to be consult. I think we lose regardless, right? Because if we remove this, they're at 5 minimum. And then they can play another creature. And then we're in top deck mode. And then they still have lethal. So I feel like we have to go for consult star charts here. I just don't think it makes any other sense. Well, that's a start. That is a start. Taplin? That's a start! We are back, dude. Maybe. Allegedly. You don't matter. Alright. Alright. Everybody back up. Back up. That's 5 mana. Mockingbird? Doing nothing. Don't play it. Please. Dang it. Played it. Now. That's what we're talking about. Now we're cooking. Oh, and a Helix? Oh boy, this person's just... They've never known. They're just not ready. You want to talk about a real struggle? We're putting our brother through it. Oh, yeah. But I think that gamble makes sense, right? Obviously, I think our opponent played that really, really well. Going to combat there, not overcommitting, getting something blown out. But I just felt like we were dead regardless if we do not get that to resolve the way we want. So, instead, We stuck to it. We won it, and we're good. So very cool. Very, very, very cool. Alrighty, so here we are with the list, and it does have a curve. The person I saw playing this, then who gave credit to someone else, then who gave credit to someone else, at least in terms of what they were playing. But there was a Spotlight series coming up. They were doing whatever. I got this from Arnie Hutchinbeth. Without looking at his name, I cannot think of what it is. But he's on the Pro Tour literally all the time. If you are looking for very good competitive advice, I would definitely go check out his name. If you do Arnie, A-R-N-E, and then MTG, you will find him almost guaranteed. But with that, this is a best of 3 list that we played in best of 1, and honestly, this configuration felt really, really nice. It is just at the point that Rest in Peace wins us more games than having a Shiko, because this gives us main board hate against any of those graveyard decks that matter. So when they're trying to do all their nonsense, well, we just get them, right? I mean, we saw in one of the games just how much this broke the game open, and holding our counter spells that are really nice as well to protect ourselves from that, even using a Revelation potentially to protect it. Playing 3 Revelations matters a lot too, because that allows this deck to close the game much quicker than being on 2 of these. Shika was kind of that win condition, but with Lessons running around, the Unagi is actually a more reliable 5-drop in that spot than Shiko is, because 1, it has flash, it has a really awkward ward cost, and it just draws us extra cards, right? So if they're trying to do something weird while they may be on their end step or something, they want to bounce the Storm Chasers and then draw a card and do the thing, well, we just flash this in. If they try to do stuff on our turn where they draw a card and then they monument, right, and draw another card, Unagi triggers again. It doesn't specify our turn, it's just second card each turn. And then with the Unagi drawing us all those cards, if we can't really win, obviously that sucks, but you know, Lessons is a very good deck for a reason. And it kind of got to where I thought it would, where the River Regent going down to a 1 of, just being that awkward card that is just good enough that you want to play it, but clunky enough that playing it and having 1 of these consistently in the opener, along with 1 of these in the opener, and potentially 1 of these 5 drops or even a 4 drop, any of these, like having 3 of these in the opener hurts a lot. If your hand isn't like these 3 lands and I don't know, no more lies on the play or something, then you're like, okay, this hand's really solid. But it really gets harder when it's 5, 6, and 4, or 7. And then obviously this could be 4 as well. 4, 5, 7. It just makes it a lot more complicated to close out a game or make sure we're alive to close out the game later, right? Honestly, more likely this is going to be a 4 drop than anything. And then the sideboard just works on everything we want. Voice of Victory, so our opponent can't deal with us. In the control matchups too, it's also a good win condition. A lot of your removal is going to come out in those matchups where it's like, I don't really have a lot to target. Like Helix can't blow this up. It can't really blow this up. So you just cut it, and if you're using it to remove these, then it's kind of whatever. And then Voice of Victories kind of come in and make it really a problem. Tidebinder's same. Biza is another Ultima for weird matchups, and 1 of these for the grindy matchups as well. Very cool. Fire magic for everything, low to the ground. Like the Badger Mole Cubs, just 1 red mana to blow up all the lands is good. Even though they get them back, it's still good to slow them down, right? So with that, it ran well. I enjoyed it, and I hope you all enjoyed it as well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.